Are you a leader within a company that's looking to drive growth and is curious, right? Maybe you're already doing it, maybe you're not, maybe you're hearing about it, but you're like, what is this personal branding stuff? I've been hearing about it a while. Like it's these online influencers, these people that have their own little small solopreneur businesses, whatever. But I'm hearing more about it like as a growth tactic, a new strategy to drive business of my kind of corporation. If you're a leader in a business that is maybe curious about that, then we're going to dive in today to the three key reasons that businesses need to embrace this idea of personal branding as a core element of their growth strategy to truly differentiate from the competition and drive growth. So before I get into the details, please remember to subscribe, all the things. We got to play the game with the algorithm, right? But seriously, if you find value out of this, if you think this is content that may, help somebody else that's in a similar spot as you, please do those things. It helps us kind of reach as many people as possible on the social platforms, right? So let's dive into it. So key number one on why companies need to embrace this idea of personal branding to drive growth is, drum roll please, it's the future. All right, I know you're probably like, whatever, dude. Like, you said that a lot. People say that, like, tell me more. Well, I think the reality is that there is no question that consumers, right? If we take a look at this, right, let's go ahead and dive in a little bit. So if we take a look at, key number one here is, the future of marketing. Kind of try to bear with my writing there. And I think it's actually more than marketing, but I would think of it as the future of marketing. We all know that there is a consumer trend, right, of consumers wanting more and more to know, especially the younger generations, right, are wanting more and more to know the individuals, the personal brands behind the corporate brands, right? And that personalizes it, right? It also helps them kind of build real trust and real relationships that, if done right, will accelerate the sales process, will accelerate kind of the buying cycle, the sales cycle, all those good things. So if you know how to do it properly, right, then this can and should be a key kind of component of your overall growth strategy, definitely your marketing strategy as a company. But how to do it right is, we have to get into a lot more details there, but it is the future. And I think we're starting to see this a little bit with, historically, right, it was just like, hey, I have my employees speaking, at conferences, on social, etc. Right? That's maybe how you thought about it before. Yeah, we embrace personal branding, right? We have our key thought leaders in the business out, have a booth at conferences. We got them speaking on panels, giving great talks. They're on social media, right? That's great. You're doing a good job, right? But there's a lot more to it than that, right? So then we see, how do we scale that up? We see the emergence of influencer marketing. Again, don't try to read this after the fact. So this emergence of influencer marketing, right? How do we create strategic partnerships with people that have big audiences, big platforms, and get them to be a representative, an extension of our corporate brand, and to drive brand awareness and drive traffic of our product or service back to what we're doing. Great, right? All of these tell us, right, that consumers are wanting to get to know an individual. It personalizes, it makes it more authentic, right? They want to get to know people in the context, right, in addition to the corporate brand, right? So, but the future, because I think what's starting to surface a little bit is that with this guy right here, or girl, whatever you want to, lots of influencers out there, male and female, but influencer marketing, right? I think consumers are starting to kind of like pick up that, hey, these people are getting paid and maybe they don't believe in the brand. Maybe they do, but there's a little bit of inauthenticity, right? That comes with, paying somebody that just has a ton of followers. So I'm not saying it's, going away or whatever, like, time will tell, but there is an element of the market starting to kind of like sense that and factor that into how much authority, how much trust they place in the individual and what they're recommending to buy. So what I feel, right, I think is really the future of how companies leverage this, is that they're enabling, right, employees as, we'll call them influencers, for lack of a better word, macro and micro, depending on, like the people in your company, how big of a online platform they may have already. All these things factor in. But the bottom line is, when you have a real strategy that's built in alignment with the core business strategy, you can then enable one or more individuals, thought leaders within your business to play a role of macro or micro influencer, and do these personal branding things as a seamless extension of your core business. That's when the magic really happens. Okay. So more details under the hood of that on how to do it. But I think you're going to see, for the next generation of growth, there's going to be a little bit of, this is still happening. This happens some, but this is the big growth opportunity to really say, who are the thought leaders in the business? How do we position them and their personal brand in a way that's aligned with the core business, but use all of these cutting edge personal brand strategies to build their influence, build their reach, build their online platforms to drive growth of the core business, not so they can spin up some side hustle. All right. So key number 2, right? Reason number 2 companies need to embrace this is that you can use it to attract and retain. So I'm going to say attract and retain top talent. How many of you out there have had a great employee, tons of talent, right? And they left to go pursue their own side hustle, right? Or maybe they were moonlighting, building something on the side, right? Because they didn't feel like they had the outlet, the ability to kind of pursue this passion of theirs within the context of their full-time job. It's happening all the time. About probably a fraction of it. So if the company has a policy around, like, we understand consumer trends are changing, like our audience wants to know the people behind the brand, right? We understand that. We're not scared about it. We actually have policies around how to activate and enable individuals as kind of extensions of the core brand to drive awareness. And we even know how to do it in a way where it's not a cookie cutter type thing, right? Hey, here's a playbook. Here's what to say. Go do it. That's not unique. That's not authentic. That's not going to break through the noise out there. And it's not going to keep people there or attract people there that feel called to talk about something a little bit more. But when you have a strategy, when you know how to go deep and basically say, what's unique about you as an individual? What's unique about our company, our core business? And how do we find the intersection of those two, and then give you an outlet to go talk about it, to serve on a bigger scale? Could be a lot of different things, right? Book, just going out, talking, writing articles, pushing content out, etc., right? Lots of details. But when we know how to do that, right, then it's serving them and their unique passions and interests. It's also serving the business. You can use that to recruit people, but also keep them there because they don't feel like they got to go do their side hustle to kind of fulfill this interest and this calling of theirs. So lots of details and tactics under the hood of that, but that's a key thing you need to understand, that it's happening. It takes more time, money, effort, but when you do it, not only do you realize the growth and increase in awareness and traffic that comes from more people repping you and driving traffic back. But you also get the benefit of people coming and wanting to stay because they see these opportunities to develop and shine as an individual in alignment with the corporate brand. So the third and final thing, I actually feel that this may have, be the most important, right? You may or may not care. Maybe hearing dogs in the background because that is the joy of working from home. I'm going to keep pushing on. So number three is that how are we using this to have a bigger impact, right? You and the corporate brand can only reach so many people. And so when we do this, right, I'm going to put impact, when we have companies that embrace this idea of saying, we're going to be intentional about creating opportunities, not because we just care for people, but we see the business value and we see the value to the individuals and the clients we serve, that's when it gets exciting. So impact means that when you activate, when you enable certain individuals, I'm not saying you have to roll this out across the entire corporation, right? That probably doesn't make sense. But for certain people, you're going to be able to reach more clients or prospects that eventually want to become clients. So if you believe in your product or service, you're going to have bigger impact on your consumers, right? Which should make you feel good. But equally important is your employees. I'll tell you just from working with hundreds of clients, when you can unlock in your head this idea that I can actually stay disciplined and focused on my full-time job and feed this passion of mine, and they aren't side hustles. It's not a side thing. I got to put this hat on, this hat on. I can actually, there's a way to position myself and my personal brand in a way that I can feed this calling. I feel like I'm having a bigger purpose, a bigger impact, right? And taking care of my employer. Boom. I don't care if you're the founder that's struggling with that. I don't care if you're a new hire, like whatever. But when you have that unlock, it gets really exciting because everybody's working in an aligned way and you feel like you got an outlet to talk about what you want to talk about. You feel like you're living into your calling, your purpose, kind of whatever that feeling is, but also taking care of the person who's paying your bills and paying you to be there and showing up. And that's the best of both worlds. So I think companies, when they figure this out, and I'm saying do it for real, I'm not saying going through the motion saying, yeah, they're on social, we give them some canned content to put on social, they go out and talk at conferences, like whatever. No, I'm saying like a real strategy, then that's when things get really exciting. Not only are you positioning your business for the future, which is this, you are attracting and retaining top talent, and you're serving your clients and your employees on a deeper level, which, to be totally honest with you, is priceless. So those are the three key things you need to kind of wrap your head around as a leader within a company when it comes to what is this personal branding stuff? Should we even pay attention to it? Yes, you should. So if this is a value, like if you want to go deeper into any of that, right, I'm going to continue to push out value add content that's going deeper into kind of all these little aspects of how we actually do this and what are the nuances of doing it as a bigger company. So be sure to kind of look in the description below and kind of tap into some of those extra resources. If you haven't already, we'll keep the content coming. Also, let me know, like put comments below, kind of let me know if this is valuable, if you want to see me dive deeper into one or more aspects of this. I'd love to hear from you. If you've had a big unlock, a big experience on like, I don't have to do a side hustle, I can do this, and it's everything serving each other. Like I'd love to hear that as well in the comments. So we'll talk to you guys soon.